Most women react. They defend, they explain, they justify. They spend their energy proving their worth to people who were never qualified to judge them. But me? I don't react. I observe, I listen, I plan. Because power doesn't come from noise, it comes from knowledge. Every reaction is a confession, and I don't give anyone that power. If you want to rise, stop fighting for attention and start building intention. Let them talk, let them doubt, let them underestimate you. While they're busy showing off, you'll be building something they'll never see coming. Power isn't about how loud you can roar, it's about how quiet you can move. Remember this, the woman who reacts gives her control away. The woman who prepares takes it back. If you want power, stop thinking like a fighter. Start thinking like a strategist. That's how I became Iyanla Vanzant. The woman who rushes to prove herself loses her peace. Power doesn't belong to the one who speaks first. It belongs to the one who waits, who watches, who reads the room before making a move. I've sat in boardrooms filled with men, twice as loud, twice as sure of themselves. They argued, they postured, they performed. And I said nothing because silence is my strategy. Every minute they spent talking, I was collecting information, studying their tone, their fear, their pride. See, life is like a chessboard. The impatient pieces rush forward, desperate to be seen. But the queen, she moves last. She moves with precision, with purpose, with patience. And when she strikes, the game changes. That's the secret. Patience is not weakness, it's calculation. The woman who can wait owns the board. While they chase moments, she builds empires. Remember, the loudest voice rarely leads, it distracts. The calm one, the patient one, she's already written the ending. That's what power looks like. That's what I learned. Patience isn't passive. It's the purest form of control. Start listening between the lines. Every tone, every pause, every silence. That's information. Most people are so desperate to be heard that they reveal everything about themselves without even realizing it. Their insecurities hide in their laughter. Their fears live in their choice of words. They expose their ego while you quietly collect their truth. That's how real women win, not by shouting, but by seeing what others miss. When you stop talking, you start noticing. You begin to see the patterns, who interrupts, who dominates, who avoids. And once you see those patterns, you hold the power. Because knowledge isn't just information, it's ammunition. You don't need to confront people to disarm them. Just observe, store it, wait. Then when the time comes, you'll know exactly where to strike, not with emotion, but with precision. That's how queens move, quietly, intelligently, without ever raising their voice. Sometimes, to protect your peace, you let the small wins go. Strategy isn't about winning every moment. It's about knowing which moments are worth your energy. I've turned down offers that glittered, but weren't gold. I've stayed silent in arguments I could have easily won, not because I couldn't fight, but because I was playing a bigger game. Weak minds crave validation. Strong women crave victory, the kind that lasts. Every queen knows that not every battle deserves her crown. Sometimes you let them think they've won, just to watch them waste their strength, celebrating something that never mattered. That's calculation. That's control. Think of it like the ocean. You don't chase every small fish that swims by. You wait, you watch, because you're hunting whales. Strategy means being selective with your energy, your words, your moves. Every no you say creates space for a more powerful yes. So don't mistake silence for surrender. It's simply preparation. The woman who learns when to walk away isn't losing, she's leveling up. A woman once tried to manipulate my circle. She thought she was clever, subtle with her whispers, graceful with her lies. She believed she was playing a game no one else could see. But I saw everything. I didn't confront her. I didn't warn her. I watched. I let her believe she was winning. I even invited her closer, smiled at her across the table, poured her a drink and asked about her plans as if I hadn't already dismantled them in my mind. See, when you're patient, people trap themselves. I had already surrounded her long before she realized it. Every move she made, I had a counter. Every secret she thought she owned, I already knew. She was in a barrel, and I was lighting the fuse. And when it finally burned down, she discovered too late that she'd been playing in my territory the entire time. That's strategy, not rage, not revenge, but control. You make them feel safe, then take everything they thought was theirs. Calmness is a weapon. Silence is the setup. And by the time they realize you were never the prey, you've already claimed the victory. That's how Iyanla Vanzant wins, not with noise, but with precision. You can't claim your crown while defending your feelings. Emotion clouds vision, and vision is what builds empires. The moment you start reacting, you hand over your control. I've learned to sit still while the world throws stones, to breathe, to pause and smile when I'm underestimated. Because calmness is my crown, and silence is my weapon. When you stay composed, you terrify those who rely on chaos to win. Every morning I stand before a mirror, not to fix my face, but to steady my spirit. I remind myself, power is presence, not performance. The one who keeps her peace controls the outcome. So when they insult you, smile. When they provoke you, stay silent. Because your silence shakes the room louder than their shouting ever could. They'll call you cold. Let them. Frost doesn't burn, it preserves. Control is not suppression, it's mastery. A woman who owns her emotions owns every situation she walks into. And that's how strategy works. The calmer you are, the clearer you see. And the clearer you see, the more unstoppable you become. You don't win by competing. You win by calculating. Life isn't a race, it's a design, and women are its architects. While others rush to prove themselves, you're busy studying the board, planning every move before they even take their first step. You don't need to be the loudest in the room to own it. You just need to know when to move and when to wait. Every day you're surrounded by noise, people reacting, rushing, reaching. But strategy lives in silence. So today, stay quiet. Observe. Watch how people move. Write down what you notice, their patterns, their triggers, their habits. Because power comes from awareness. The more you understand, the less you need to react. Let them call you distant. Let them think you're detached. You're not. You're deliberate. You're not ignoring the world, you're studying it. That's what separates the emotional responder from the strategic empress. She doesn't chase moments, she builds futures. Every delayed response, every silent observation, every patient decision becomes a brick in the empire she's constructing. Remember, quick victories fade. Calculated ones last forever. So don't rush your rise. Design it. Because queens don't compete. They plan their reign. I've never needed to beg. I've never needed to prove. Power doesn't shout. It whispers and still gets heard. Every woman I've ever watched lose her peace did it because she needed to be understood. But I don't need understanding. I need results. I don't fight for validation. I wait for alignment. Because true queens win before the game even begins. Power is not about forcing your way through. It's about knowing you were never competing to begin with. Every room I've entered, I entered prepared. Every challenge that came my way, I had already studied its shape. By the time they thought they had me cornered, I'd already written my escape. That's the art of silent power, the mastery of calm before the storm. Rewatch this before you react. Remember, you're not here to please. You're here to rise. And rise you will, quietly, gracefully, unshakably, because that's what Iyanla Vanzant does. She wins in silence.